Mr. Keshe, can I ask you a question?
Yes, please.
You know, when we have, imagine in your garden, you have parsley, you have basil.
Why do you need to imagine?
Okay, I have a garden.
You are a God, you're creator of your own being.
Okay, if we have like a garden with basil and parsley and an apple tree, and every day I go take out the top of the parsley and basil and use it for my food, the roots are still there. So the plant is still alive. So I'm cutting the almond legs, I guess, and then apples. The trees are still alive, but I use the apple. Sometimes the apples falls on the ground and I eat the apple. So is this killing the soul? Or
in so many ways, we have to understand what is the apple. What was the function of the apple? Why did the plant create the apple and gave it different color and taste? Otherwise it would have been one apple and that's it. Is it that the process is that I provide this is what I say, freely available, because it's made available that it allows for expansion, because it has a purpose. For the animals to eat the apple and take the seed and drop it somewhere else, that it expands. It's the cleverness of the plant, not the man is there to consume, or the animals or the birds. The plant has valued its soul to understand its function, and it wants to expand that it can create more of itself. Plants are highly intelligent. They have a beautiful soul. So if I want to expand that it can be another apple tree, that I have my child, human beings make love, animals mate. What does a plant do? What does a tree do? It cannot throw its apple, it'll fall within its own shadow, and then it can lead to its own demise. It creates an upward position that this seed will be taken somewhere else. What is the seed? When you look at the seed of an apple, when you look at a grain of rice, what's in there? It's a womb with a food supply. If you look at a grain of rice, what do we see? What we call the corn in one corner, and the rest a pack of slice of. Can I share a screen? Go ahead. This is what, in so many ways, if you look at a grain of rice, it has a section which is the heartbeat, which is the seed. And in so many ways, this is the part which is there as an energy pack. When the seed wants to grow, I provide this food for it. Change the name. Call it an egg. The same story. This is the child, this is the baby already made, ready. And the same as the other place, the mother has provided the food for it till it grows. This is the soul of the apple, ready to grow. This is the same. So, if you expand it, it's the soul of the man, but we call it the brain. The cycle of life is the same. It's us that we could not understand. Now we understand. We create children. The tree has created this child. so has a grain of rice or the rice plant. The whole thing is exactly the same. They all have souls. This is alive. So is this. So is this. And strange enough, if you have not understood by now, they speak the same language. They have the same emotion. It's us which has been blind to it. You nourish the egg the right way, you get your chicken. You nourish this, you get another life. You call the rice plant. You nourish this the right way, you have yourself another being. It's all life. We just not been aware of it. Now we are responsible for it. We don't go and eat our children, but we go and eat the child of a chicken or a child of the rice. Because it's our right, we have done it so long, we have to do it. Now it's time to ask a question. Is it my right? Has it been my right? Just because others have done wrong does not mean we carry on with the wrong. You go to space, would you like somebody to come and eat your child because you're another energy pack? Or is it correct that you understand he can't eat, consume other lives, then in a space that's not done either to you or you don't do it to the others? To make a pilot, you have to train the pilot to be able to fly. To take mankind into space, you have to train the man to understand the rules of the flight in space. And this is part of these teachings. I teach you everything about the soul, about energy, about everything else. And the whole target is narrowly, we are literally walking, or if you look at it, I'm walking you through a funnel with a very, very low hole at the bottom. Mankind has been here doing every damage whatever it could. Gradually is getting trained that it shines through like a torch as one ray in the universe. Like everybody else in the universe. Mankind is not going to be unique that I'm in the universe. I am. When you shine like the others, like the stars. And this is the whole purpose of this teaching. The only way I could get you lot going was to give you a bit of sweetie, have a bit of free energy. You can do something with your soul. You can do something with nano coating for your whatever, heating or whatever. But you all have walked the path. This is a mastership of a teacher. And I'm mastering what I do. I've done it many times in the universe. I understand the weakness of the student, but I don't punish it for the weakness. I glorify its beauty, which is his soul, that he tries to get to that point, but in fact, it walks through the door. It's not a catch, it's education of the soul. It's the freedom for the soul. So when you talk about the plants, when you talk about, I ate, as we were talking with Rick and Vince before, about the celery. What do you do with the celery? Say, can I chew you? Can I kiss you first and then chew you? Or is the cell created itself for you to chew it because it had to have those leaves that it could allow the plant to grow, that it could create the seed. If this is a celery and then it gives a seed, we don't allow all of them to become, but these leaves and everything else is for you to come to have the seed. So the plant has already calculated, I am giving something to get something. Thou shalt not steal. But you have to understand something very simple. Who makes that decision? Where is the soul of the plant? Where is the soul of a tree? As we said in the other teaching, or some of you mentioned, we cut the branch, we take the fruit, but the tree is still there. We cut the arm of the man, we cut the leg of the man, but the man is still there. Because the soul of the man still is within the structure of the body of the man. Even though every cell carries its own soul. How come that the plants have become what they are? Where is the soul of a tree? When comes the point that a plant does not want to grow anymore? When we see a plant, when we see a tree, where are its roots? Why does it have a root? How did the soul of the plant change from the soul of the man in a way of guaranteeing its survival? The position of the soul of the man and the plant and the tree is the same. But in the mankind, we decided to go this way. In the world of vegetation, they decided to go that way. The soul of the tree is not created somewhere here and goes down. The soul of the plants, the position of creation of the soul of the plant is slightly different than the soul of the man or the animal line. In the position of the soul of the man, we kept the freedom of our soul, but with some attachment condition to the earth, which means we still would like to be free, but we accept certain connections. So the soul feels like very much like a sun. If you look at it, your soul is like a sun, radiates downwards. And the interaction with the earth gravitational magnetic field and in composition of changing energy for this soul to be independent has created arms and legs. But our soul, which is its own amino acid from the condition of the gaseous part, has decided to keep its ratio mass to use a specific field strength of the oxygen and the carbon and the hydrogen of this environment. Where the soul of the plant has decided to use the same but a slightly different strength of the same thing, which this allows it to be more dependent on the matter state of the planet than the soul of the man. So the soul of a plant sits just between the root and the stem, where the life starts. When you pick a tree, you pull a plant out, the root of it is connection, is its legs, how it wants to be connected. But the soul of it sits just below the surface. And itself decides, this is what I want to have, to make sure that I can spread my eggs, that there is more of me. So the apple tree So does the man. Due to composition of the amino acid, which is connected closer to the strength of the earth level, the seeds and the trees or vegetation have taken this position, where the soul of the man has decided different way. I stay independent, I still shine like a sun on earth, but I keep my distance because I chose a slightly different strength. And choosing a slightly different strength amino acid from the gaseous part allows me to connect calcium to magnesium and to many other elements of this planet, and what is above which man does not know yet. And where here I can only connect myself to calcium, if it's calcium here, or zinc or whatever. So in reality, if you look at it, our soul sits above in our head. In the plant life, the soul sits between the connection to earth and the use of environment of the above. So in fact has two ways. It's grown in longitude, where with us we have decided to go in a different way in altitude and the longitude, where the plants decide, this is my longitude, I stay at soul level. My altitude, I decide in what I can get, what I can go, and how much fields is available forcing me from the earth and above to become part of what I want to be. The existence of the soul of a being is the same. Without it, shall not be radiating anything. Be the soul of the man, being the plant. And then I decide to have this condition. I like to wear a Chinese hat with chopsticks, so anybody who likes the chopsticks and a Chinese hat is with me. And then I can have a Chinese partner that I create a Chinese child, that it shows I'm Chinese, and with it I allow him to marry another one to spread more of me. So that's the apple tree. Man has gone the wrong way in so many ways, not understanding these things. And it has, in the history of man, we see a lot of abuses like this due to misunderstanding, but those who understood it, abused it well. So now we understand. There is no difference in what we think, because we can speak and we made the computers and the microphone. We are more intelligent than the soul of an apple tree or a celery or a wheat. Because we don't hear the, what you call the frequency of their communication, you think that's just a tree. But very soon, man, when they open their eyes as a race, they will hear the voices of the soul of every entity. In hearing means respecting. In hearing means understanding to accommodate. This is what we say, you cannot steal, but you are given. Do plants give? That through it, the energy they have created that gives your life elevation of, so that's become now your soul. You give from you to elevate the others. If the apple chooses a red color and sweetener is eaten more, that by it he can spread more of his seeds, but it knows you have to have a pleasure of the sweetness of it that this seed can spread, then he has given the right, or has he given the sacrifice to give, to take. What about if you come to the point to understand to the soul of the plant, the tree, that I give you freely what you want to spend. I take your seed where you want, that it gives you pleasure, that you expand. You don't need to eat the apple. The apple in mythical language is Adam and Eve, and the apple is when man betrayed his own soul. That was the poison. That was the chalice that everybody is looking for. Betraying one's souls. And then you understand more. And then it comes part of the theology, because then you take the fields off without taking the essence of the life off. This is what the man will face in space. And this is the biggest dilemma for those of us who've been active around the universe trying to get this race to be corrected. To you might funny if somebody considers the apple, where would you like me to take your seed? But you don't need to speak the language. You can ask the apple, you can feel the fields of it. Look how trees speak together. Look how when you walk in the woods, plants accommodate each other. This is the space I need to live. I have to go taller, I have to go to the left or the right to get some light. They accommodate each other. Walk in the true jungles made by nature, by the facilitating one souls of the plants, and you get a different feeling. You walk through man-made jungles and you get a different feeling. You feel the pain of the trees. Because we are forced to be. It's like imprisoning a soul. Man soon will learn these things and you understand it. We've seen it now in the world of food. Fishes are free with no diseases. Man gets the fish and confines them into boxes that they grow, and they call them free range fish. And we see diseases with them because they don't want to exist. We see this in Ghana, in the fishing industry. We see this in Norwegian fishing industry with salmon and other fishes. We see it in the Scottish salmon industry. And none of the agriculturists, none of the fishery authorities have understood, contemplated for 1 second that fishes are getting diseased, but have we cared about their soul? Do we need to confine them, or do we give them the freedom of a whole river and let them grow in a whole river the way they were used to? But we give them a helping hand. And if they will, they want, they give you the fruit of their life, which is the children, or whatever, if the child wants to be there. Or you find after a while they balance each other. The biggest problem in fishery and agriculture, that's why we see so much pesticides and fertilizers are used, is because man has not understood the emotion and the feeling and the soul of the plants or the animals. Fishes are talking to us, trees are getting diseased because they don't want to be in that position. And it says, these trees are all getting decimated because of this disease. Have we seen, have we allowed to understand the feeling of the tree? I need more space. You say 1 meter is not good enough for me. You put me in the prison lock. I like to be 2 meters. When we understand, we plant it that way. And we will see no trees with no disease. We see agriculture without pesticides. We see agriculture without fertilizer. Because they will grow and you create the environment for them to grow. We have shown this in all the agricultural teaching. When we add GANs to it, it's not just the GANs we give. GANs creates a new environment for the plant. It creates a condition that the plant can take what it likes from its environment, so it grows bigger. How foolish we've been, we haven't seen. We force it with the fertilizer. You can give me as much as you like, I blew up, but I'm not so wickedy. I don't put the right things in my seed, then your child eats my seed of grain of rice, does not get the right emotion, you end up with new disease because you received the wrong energy for what you've been brought up to. We have to understand the whole process. And we have to understand the position, the work of the soul of the plants. Then if we understand the soul of this planet. What does this planet wants from us to be? So many times I say, the earth is crying blood through his soul for what man is doing to his entity. It's like a father watching his child destroying whatever he's made. His life work being destroyed and destroyed. Till the child realizes, I'm destroying my own root. What his father left for me is for me to elevate myself, but I've destroyed everything. How can I elevate? If the man could hear the cry of the soul of this planet for what man and other animals are doing to it, man will stop, will freeze in this point. And this is what the purpose of these teachings are. To open the eye of the man to more knowledge. You use it. I was teaching with Dr. Kwata in Kenya last Saturday, in the university where he teaches every Saturday. And to me, I have to explain how the GANs is good for the agriculture in Kenya, because they get better profit, they can harvest, but I cannot teach them because they don't understand at the moment that I create a facility for the wheat and he's happy for what I give him, that he can give me whatever. I create a happy environment through being correct. But then, would the vegetation or a tree would give me the energy it wants to put into a plant to grow to me direct what I need, that I don't even need to consume it. I just enjoy its beauty. This is the new innovation of the new systems. When you make a food system, you're all happy to have a CH3 on you and get energy. What about the soul? That entity creates, that it gives you unconditionally from it, when I nourish it properly. We have the same problem in our flight system. They do not see to fly needs understanding of the freedom of the giving by the entity you use, not by forcing it. In a way, I give from my soul for you to give me, to show me the beauty of what it give me a pleasure, and for me it will be pleasure to be able to fly. Then you find out everybody will walk to the king. The king being the soul of the man, that with it, it becomes generous to give, not to take. In so many ways, we have to understand what this technology brings for us. Then we understand the structure of the soul. Then we don't need to go to the wall and bang our head to it to become elevated in our understanding, because we're just banging against what I call a solid wall. Solid wall which the soul cannot accept. So when you speak about agriculture, understand what is the soul of the plant? Why does it operate this way? And in so many ways, it does not matter if the plant, which the energy you need for it, is in Africa and you're in Europe, or in Asia and you're in America. Man needs a lot to learn. When we saw the magnets by Rick last week, or in other teachings, you just look what happens immediately around the magnet, but look beyond where these fields will end up. Who takes, who needs it. So When we look at the structure of the agriculture and we understand what has been explained, then 2 points. We don't need to eat the plant. Second is, we give respect to the existence of that soul. Because at the end of the day, if the amino acid turned up to be the soul of the man's container, becomes the body of the man, so is for the plant, but different strength. The amino acid of the body of the man needs the iron to create blood, that it can flow, that it makes it versatile. The same amino acid of different strengths with magnesium and other things creates the green leaves and the rest of it, that call it the vertical position. But all these plants, they talk to each other. They communicate in the word of their language of their soul, because one tree understands the soul of the other, and some will do with the other space that they need to space themselves in. Agriculture, the soul of the plants, if you understand it, should become a rhythm for living of the man in the space. We have to understand why, because we've been ignorant to it. We have to understand how that we can elevate the soul of the plant, that with it, it grows the plant. And then it comes other aspects, it comes other understanding. It comes for us as a human race to go a step further. Then, as I said many times, every energy pack in the universe does not become food. Any other question?